Okay, just hold on 1 second. All right, everybody. Hi, this is DearMamaSal, and with apologies for those of you who were on the first link, my whole computer froze for some peculiar reason. Really weird. Let me just make sure that I've got this information where it needs to go. Just bear with me, because obviously there are people that are going to want to move to the second location. Okay. Right. So hi, Nana, and hi, Jody. Welcome back. I don't know what happened. The whole of my computer just froze, wouldn't let me do anything. And by the time I realized it and had to download, had to turn it off and reboot the whole thing. So never mind. Let's hope people get there. I appreciate the fact that you hung on. Thank you, Jody, and thank you, Nana. I really am happy about that. So why can't you tell me, Nana? So I don't understand why Jody needs to do the work. Okay. Anyway, so the main thing is, thank you for your patience. It was, I really have no idea what happened. Just everything on my computer froze. It wasn't, I couldn't use my mouse. I couldn't use anything. So obviously, oh, your brother had bypass surgery? Ah, okay. You know something? I'm presuming that he survived the bypass, right? That is wonderful news. Yes, I'm sure you're very emotional about it. It's like, what more does he have to go through, right? Yeah. But I'm delighted to hear that he survived it, because, there must have been some uh, worry on your part that he might not survive it. Let me just restart the broadcast in terms of people who might be just tuning in for the first time. Just to let you know that we had a glitch on the start of this broadcast, so we restarted it. And if you're new to the broadcast and watching on the replay, just understand that what we are going to do is we are going to do a little bit of news and updates for people. For example, that's what we're doing right now. And then we will start the actual subject. And today it's one more step a little bit later, as soon as everybody's got a chance to come in. If you're watching on the replay, it'll say from 00 time to this time, news and updates, and then it'll show you from this time the actual topic. So if you are new to the program, and we're a big extended family, so we like to update everybody. So if you're new and just want to go to the topic, you'll know where to go. All right. I don't mean that rudely either. You know where to go. Right. So Jody, Nana, I am really delighted to hear that. I'm sure that that our thoughts and prayers are with you. And that's a very difficult time for you to be able to cope with all of that, especially after you've had the other issue with your neighbor. So it must be very draining. Yes, I'm sure you have happy tears now. Something, big hugs to you. I totally relate to that. Yes, the tears was, of fear, and then your tears of happiness that he survived it. So there is a God, and that is absolutely wonderful. I know that Pat said she was going to pop in. She said she sent me a note to say she'd just done a 10-hour drive, apparently. Um, how do you mean you're third on the list for, oh, to go and visit him? Is that what you mean, Nana, when you say you're third on the list for ICU? So you can only go in one at a time, I gather, and then for a short period of time, I'm sure. Yeah. Well, you know something? That is great. Yeah. Well, that's very special that you should, that you would be number 3 on that list when only his wife and daughter are ahead of you. So that is awesome, and I'm very happy for you. And of course, his wife wants to stay with him. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, you would want to do the same for Rick, I know. So very good news. Anyway, I was saying about Pat, she had just done 10 hours. Of course you can, Anna. She's just done a 10-hour trip. Apparently that what was going to be a 9-hour trip or 7-hour trip or whatever it was took longer than she thought. And so, but she got there safely. I'm not sure if she came into the broadcast or not when I froze. And I am also aware that Lauren has now gone. And so I just think it's wonderful. I don't know if you heard the story about Lauren, Nana, but that must have been so exciting for her. I just, in my reality, I cannot imagine how excited she must have been about that. It must have been second only to meeting that guy personally when she went on that trip. So I'm sure she'll be flying on that one for some time. uh, Nana, I can't help but feel that you've had a really tough week of it. And yeah, um, I'm I'm not sure if I'm properly understanding that, Nana. So you've spoken to your sister-in-law? Yeah, you know something that sometimes it is a really good idea to have a good cry when there's that much emotion involved of any sort. Yeah, I'm sure he did. He's a big softie, I think, Rick. When I say he's a big softie, I say that with the greatest love in the world. He would do anything for anybody is my sense of him, and yet he really has such a big, kind heart. So on birthdays, we need to wish both Lauren and Andy a happy birthday today. We know Lionel's is coming up on Sunday, so we will give him a big happy birthday on Sunday. I've had a really um, a really busy day, and I guess I could talk about that in one step at a time. So let me just call a time here, Jody, for 9 minutes on this broadcast. We'll forget about the time on the other one. And just to let you all know that uh, Dougie came over this afternoon, bless his heart. I am so grateful to him. And, I wanted to say how having the right people around you when you're doing something such as downsizing and moving and everything like that is probably more important than the number of people helping you. I don't know if any of you know what I'm talking about. When Dougie arrived, he arrived just after I finished the broadcast, as we planned, about quarter after. And the first thing we did was we sat down and had a quick chat. Um, which, is very important. So we sat down and had this quick chat. And then I said, okay, thank you for coming. Here's what I want to do. And what I wanted to do was to move. You remember those boxes? They're gone. But what I said to him was, I have, and the wall unit has gone from here, and my artwork is up there, but my wall unit has gone from here, and my other two wall units have all gone. And I literally said to him, we got three wall units we need to take down and take apart and get them downstairs. We've got 15 boxes that need to go downstairs. But before we put the 15 boxes downstairs, we need to work out where they're going to go. So our first trip is to work out how we're going to do this. And Dougie is so good like that, right? He totally understands my thinking. So we went down into the garage and we went, okay, fine. We're going to put all the wall unit stuff, because it gets taken apart. We're going to put all that up there, because that's not going to move again until you actually move. I go, works for me. And then all the Christmas boxes, I don't know if you've heard me talk about that, but I've got about 10 Christmas boxes, banker boxes of Christmas stuff. And I want to get that down to probably 3 if I can. But it was really interesting, because what I did is I brought those down to a different level that would be easy for me to take out and start sorting through. And then together, what we did was, actually, it worked that Doug and I just worked together. I didn't take too much. I know you're worried about that. Hope I didn't strain myself, whatever. I didn't. Because working with him is always such a pleasure, I just knew that I just had to do what I could, and he wouldn't want me to do anything more than that. But, he didn't fuss about it or say, do you think you should be carrying that? Nothing like that. I just went, okay, Doug, let's do this. And we did it. And it was amazing. We did the whole lot, deconstructing, first of all, going downstairs, working out what we were going to do, deconstructing everything, taking it all downstairs and moving a whole lot of stuff from one side of the garage to the other. So we had a clear space to put the boxes that had been right here. We did it all in less than an hour. And I just said to him, the difference between having you help me and most other people is you totally understand how I think, and you just do what we need to do. But he also came in with some great ideas along the way, which was awesome. But I imagine how it feels, right, to take that major step in the right direction. And I said to him, I keep saying to people, don't worry about the boxes. Dougie will come to visit. When Dougie comes to visit, he knows that's what we're going to do. We're going to move. I didn't lift one box, by the way. Dougie did all the boxes himself. It was just an amazing thing that we did together. And then we still had time at the end of that to sit and have an hour's chit chat on the back deck, talking about a few people in American politics that we know very well. So I just wanted to say that it was totally stressless, right? I didn't feel that I had to impress him or do anything. I just said, okay, Dougie, this is what we need done. And he said to me, Sal, anytime you need me to do this, you just let me know. And I said, I know it's a really busy time of the year for you, so I'm going to try only to do it every now and then. But what I will do is the same thing, right? I'll get a whole lot of boxes ready to go. And then when I'm ready to do that, I'll phone you. And then from that point onwards, the other thing was I've been people have been saying to me, well, aren't you going to finish your back deck? Hi, Sharon. Yeah. And I said, Dougie, I don't know how to tell you this. I keep saying, I'm not going to worry about my back deck. Dougie knows what to do with it. do you know what I mean? It's just like, Dougie's done it before. He will just say to me, what do you want to keep? And I'll go, that, let's move that to the side. Everything else can go. And he will literally, in a matter of minutes, completely clear the deck and clean it and have it looking wonderful. He's just good at that sort of stuff. I'm not. I touch everything and then I wonder whether I should keep it or not. But if I have him there, I'll just go, I want to keep that, and that. Let's move that to one side. Yeah, I'm happy. Rest can go. And I walk away. And he just goes like a bat out of hell. He's amazing. And, he appears to be so happy in doing it. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't seem like a big stress for him, and he doesn't sort of roll his eyes or do anything. He just goes, okay, Sal, let's do this. And we do it. So I wondered whether any of you have somebody in your life that you go, I love working. Hi, Sharon. I love working with this person. Like whenever I've got a stressful thing to do, I found it's really important. As some of you know, my friend Marnie is a great person for me to work with as well. She is totally unfazed by me. You know what I mean? She knows me so well and she understands me so well. She'll just go, okay, what are we doing? The interesting thing is she knows, yes, I'm sure Rick is wonderful at that, right? Because it's not about wanting to do it their way. It's like, what do you need done and how would you like it done? And you see, I think that both Doug and Marnie, for example, know that I have thought this out before I ever called them, if that makes any sense. And so they want to hear what I have thought out so that they, okay, fine. Then we know exactly what we're doing. And I'm not joking. I think Doug made 1 or 2 suggestions along the way, both of which were excellent. And I said, that's great. Let's do that. And because of that, we got all that done in less than an hour. So imagine how that feels for me. It's just like, yay. And the other thing is, although I don't think it looks like I've done anything, his opening comment to me when he came into the house was, boy, you've done a lot. And I said, I find that really interesting because I don't think it looks like I have. Well, yes, exactly. Jodie's saying Lionel's her husband. He knows how to organize everything just exactly how it works best for my limitations. Yes. And yeah, Sharon, you're right. It did feel cleansing, right? And he just said to me, boy, I can't believe what you've done. And I'm going, I can't believe that you can see what I've done. And he said, believe me, Sal, I can see how much you've done. And I go, it's strange because to me, I keep thinking it doesn't look like I've done anything, although some of you know I've done a lot. And what I find, and I don't know whether this is the same thing, Nana, that you had, but for example, I've already been under my basin in my bathroom, I've got 2 cupboards side by side, and I've had everything out of there and sorted it all out once. And this weekend, yesterday, I pulled everything out a second time and started going, okay, fine, I need to halve it again. Right? It's too much still. I'm going from 2 bathrooms into 1. Therefore, I need to get rid of a bathroom. Everything that's in 1 bathroom needs to be gone. Although I can use it to store other things, but I have to think about the fact that, I don't know if any of you relate to this. I didn't know this about myself, but apparently I am a big person for the backup. For example, I probably have 3 backups of deodorant. Do any of you fall into that trap? I have at least 1 backup and a backup to the backup of hairspray. And yes, but I won't I won't have separate bathrooms. I will only have one bathroom. And so, what I'm trying to do is go, one backup is enough, Sal. So, you don't get to buy another backup now until you start the last can. Yes, it's toothpaste and soap, exactly. And what else do you stockpile? That's interesting. I stockpile things like crackers. I have a particular cracker that I like, so I stockpile that. Crackers and Quaker rice cakes, caramel rice cakes, because I find when I'm having a sugar need, they work really well for me. I can just have a couple of those and it's good. Yes, Nana, interesting you should mention cloths. You mean cleaning cloths? Are you talking tea towels and stuff like that? Breakfast cereal, I probably have 2 backups, yes. Toilet paper and paper towels, yes. So I'm not the only one. That's really good to hear. I was getting a bit panicky there. So the things, the same thing, I guess, in the days when I was a smoker, I always had extra cigarettes somewhere. But yeah, it's like, it's interesting what backups I have. And so I now need to wean myself off the backups. The other thing was that, who was it that said that to me? Somebody said to me, do the people, I guess it must have been Patty when I was with her yesterday. Patty asked me if the viewers knew about what I'd done in my fridge. Did I tell you guys? Did I tell you? Because, I'm going to have a much smaller fridge. And you know how big my fridge is. So did I tell you what I've done there? I'm trying to train myself not to use my big fridge. Do you want to see? My fridge is probably a mess, but I'm happy to show you. If I disconnect I keep the earphones on. I'll tell you, it's easier. What I've done is I've taken out everything on one side of my big double door fridge, right? I got this big double door fridge and then a 3-level freezer underneath it, which I think some of you have seen. So what I've done is on the one side, I am starting to get rid of a lot of the space on the left-hand side. And the way I'm doing it is, as I use my gallon jugs of milk, I'm putting the empty gallon jug into the fridge on its side. So that, like, if this is the side of my fridge, I've now blocked off this much by the gallon jar. All right, just imagine a gallon jug, and all I've done is, why? Because I'm trying to train myself not to use as much stuff in my fridge, because my new fridge is going to be much smaller, Nana. Does that make sense? So the trick is, if I block places in my fridge off so I can't push anything to the back. How many of you have that habit if you just keep putting things in the front and everything goes to the back? I haven't bought it yet, but I'm still working on the deal with the guy. And I will not move probably until March, Nana. So this whole thing is I'm trying to teach myself how to downsize. And it was really interesting at lunchtime. We were talking about really what, Nana? Yeah. Jody is talking at the moment that they keep what they call a blizzard box separate from everything. All right. So in the case of a blizzard and they can't go out, hi there, Lee. Good to see you. In the case of a blizzard, they've got a box that will contain tuna. It's got tuna in it. It's got pasta. It's got crackers and toilet paper. Just in case they get sucked in with the blizzard. Very clever. I have I have a bag, I don't know if that makes sense, just a shopping bag that has in it the basics of what I need, the same sort of thing. So if ever I couldn't get out, I still have backups, and that's, part of it. How much of the fridge have I blocked off this time? I've probably got a good quarter, maybe, yeah, I would say maybe a third that I've blocked off in my fridge, Lee. And it's really interesting. Well, this is it. A 2-year-old trailer never sold is exactly when I bought my trailer, my little one. It was 2 years old and never been sold, never went off the lot. And I got it at a very sweet deal. Why am I living like this when I don't have to? Because I choose to. I'm choosing to try and lessen my need for things. And if I don't train myself, imagine what a shock it's going to be when I actually move from a huge, great fridge to a smaller one. So to me, it's about, I think it's really important. It's like I am literally downsizing and downsizing and downsizing. And of course, it's going to be a shock. I'm going to be moving from 2,500 square feet to 500. I mean, do the math. You think about that. It's like, 3/4 of my life is about to disappear. Yeah, exactly, Nana. So that is why I'm training myself on these things, right? The new fridge I'm going to have is probably twice the size of an average RV fridge, which is still a double door, but it's a small double door. I think, yes, Jody, I believe that as well. I said, how do I lessen the shock? And I lessen the shock by, literally every week I downsize again and again. And then that's what I'm doing. I'm just keep rotating until I'm down to, okay, this is what I definitely need with me. Yeah. And so, we have so much excess in everything. And, the one, the point that I wanted to make about this whole thing, though, was this stuff with Dougie today. And I saw this quote and it said, your life cannot go according to plan if you don't have a plan. And so to me, it was like I was so grateful that I had a plan. Everybody kept saying, what about these boxes? What about these boxes? Don't you want them out of the way? And I go, nope, Dougie's coming. When? I don't know. When he can. Well, I go, nope, don't worry, Dougie's coming. Do you understand? Because I knew when Dougie came, they'd be gone in a heartbeat. I just had to tell him where to put them. And so to me, it's a really important thing that doing this at my speed is another very important thing. I am so glad I didn't rush this. The other thing is, I cannot tell you how many empty boxes I have down in my garage ready for the move. It's amazing. I kept going, I've got to be the only person that's got boxes of empty boxes. Yeah. So did he get a toy hauler or did he get a big luxury fifth wheel? Do you know, Sharon, even to the extent, Sharon, I just got myself a tablet. And the reason I did is because I know that I won't have room for my computer table in the bedroom of the fifth wheel. And so, but what I will be able to do is to have a tablet and a keyboard. All right, Nana wants to know, why am I waiting until March? It's because that's when he would like to leave. Good reason? And all the way along here, I keep saying to him, let's go for the win-win. All right. And tell me what you need, and I'll tell you what I need. And let's see if we can both come to a win-win on this one. No stress, no big, to do. Just okay, what do you need? You need to go by March. Okay, I could do that. you know. But I need not to pay what you were originally asking. I believe it's worth this much. And he went, okay. It was really quite funny. And so then, I think it's really interesting that we're doing this in a very collaborative way. And, literally that he keeps saying to me, Sal, would you like me to do this? And would you like me to do that? And I'm going, will that cost me more? It's like, because if it's going to cost me more, then I want to think about it. But if it's all part of what you want to do anyway, go right ahead. Be my guest. Yeah. Now, the other thing that I found, and it's funny, isn't it? It's really funny how I was listening yesterday and just recently that people want to tell you what to take with you, right? And what to leave behind. Everybody wants me to leave my big glass table behind. And, it's really strange. I really want to take it with me. And the thing is, I've got lots of reasons why I want to take it with me, and it's not because I want to hold dinner parties for 8 people. And everybody's saying, why would you take a big glass table into a small environment? And I can tell you all sorts of reasons why I do. And the reasons are, a glass table is the best craft table you can get. Nothing sticks to it. You can drop paint on it and the paint comes off. You can drop glue on it and the glue comes off. I mean, quite honestly, a glass table for somebody who's creative is a very useful thing to have. And I'm thinking about the fact, yeah, exactly. It's a desk, it's crafts, and I might not take all my chairs with me. I might only take a couple of chairs with me. Yeah. And so to me, I know, for example, this table I have, I think is 9 feet long, but the slide that I have is 17 feet long. Hang on a second. This is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so what if I see something else I want before March? Well, if I've signed the deal, I can cancel the deal, but it would cost me the deposit. But quite honestly, Nana, if I've done the deal, then why would I keep looking? Yeah, it's like I was looking yesterday because I haven't done the deal yet, right? I'm still looking at the deal. I went to go and see some houseboats yesterday, float homes. And so my attitude is the time to look is before I've done the deal. Once I've done the deal, I think it would be stupid to keep looking, because I would just, that's I don't know, that's asking for trouble as far as I'm concerned. Now, you can say, hey, it's worth to keep looking in case something goes wrong, but I'll worry about that. Is there a studio in the back? No. In this particular one that I saw, Lee, okay, so if you can imagine, you've got a big fifth wheel, it's like 40 feet long, all right? But what he's done is he's built an addition on it that is 20 by 6 foot. So there we go. That is, a studio on the side, not on the back. The houseboat, I've got some footage for you. I took some pictures when I was out yesterday. The houseboat were wonderful. But I tell you what I said at lunchtime, Sharon. I'm so glad I went because it was low tide. And what you realize is that the ramps on a houseboat, um, from the shore to the houseboat decks, the angle is ridiculous. And we had really good weather, so that was beautiful. And I've got a brain that doesn't take the best of everything, right? I've got a brain that processes what if. And I'm looking at this angle and I'm going, what if it's wet? What if it's snow? How would you manage, Sal, at 71 about to be, how would I manage with that angle? And then I looked at the decks, right? Very few, no side rails. So, if you came home a bit drunk at night, not that I do that, but, I'm just trying to think, it'd be very easy to fall into the drink. But also I kept thinking, I live in Vancouver. It rains a lot, and wet wood is very slippery, and I am not as good on my feet as I used to be. The other thing is going up that ramp up to the land, if you like. That is, it uses a lot of muscles that I really, found a bit of a strain. The other thing I thought about, and I'm sure that you guys would think about it as well, what if I'm carrying groceries? So now I haven't got two hands to keep steady, I've only got one. Now, a lot of them have got wheelbarrows, but the idea of a wheelbarrow with weight in it pulling me down that ramp had me a bit worried. I would probably take it with the handles I'd probably pull it behind me rather than push it in front of me so that I had some control over the weight of the wheelbarrow. So I thought about that a great deal. For example, in the one houseboat I saw, it had a very steep staircase up to the mezzanine level. It had a sort of mezzanine level that had a bedroom and an office area. And I noticed that to get up there, I needed to pull myself up, very steep staircase, and I needed both hands to stay steady. There wasn't a rail on the one side, only on this side. And so I thought, I can do this, but what if I'm trying to carry laundry? Or what if I've got a cup of coffee? How would I do this? Do you understand? So to me, I think like that. And I then said to my realtor, if I bought this thing, I would actually do without the staircase. I would put in an elevator. I'd get somebody to come in and give me an elevator that would take me from ground 1 to ground 2, and I just walk straight off it. Obviously with a power pack in it, so that if there was a power failure, I could still get from one level to the other. But, you start saying, okay, well, how much would that cost me? And then, you look at the other things that are wrong and you go, I'd rather have the fifth wheel. But I saw one houseboat that was really cute. It was really only 600 square feet, but it was cute, 600 square feet. And it really gave you a nice sense of space and everything. But I really didn't like the area. It was like I would not feel safe in that area. And you've got to think about that as well. The other thing was you've got to think about the fact, will I have anybody who cares about whether I wake up in the morning? And so to me, I keep looking at all these factors. And the other thing that I wanted to mention was, a lot of people when you talk about it, they sort of look at you and go, so you're going to be trailer trash. And it's interesting how many people go that way. And I go, actually, no, I think I'm actually going to be lowering my carbon footprint. And that's, it's like, I believe that what I'm doing, a lot of people are going to do. And I said, I think it's called the tiny house movement. And I just happen to be ahead of the curve. And I said, it's not so much as I am going to become trailer trash. I like to think that I'm going to up the environment a little bit. you know? So, but it is interesting to see how people react to this. And I believe it is the way of the future. I believe that we will be going for less and less. The other thing was, as I was saying at lunchtime, my running costs of a big fifth wheel are going to be really amazingly less than obviously my 2,500 square feet. But also, I was looking at the moorage costs of having a houseboat, and one of them was charging $1,300 a month just to moor your houseboat there. So, you look at it all and you go, it's interesting. It's, you know what I mean? There are pluses and minuses. And the other thing I said, remember, it's the big experiment. The big experiment is I'm going to try it for a year. If I can survive, hi there, boob. If I can survive a full Canadian winter in a large fifth wheel and still be sane, then I probably can stay there for the rest of my life. Does that make sense? The trick is, can I live through the winter months within that space? And my attitude is, it's called, well, maybe I take a month and go on a cruise. That's 1 month's gone. Maybe I take a month or two and go down to Arizona or somewhere and rent a place down there for a couple of months. And no, I won't pull my fifth wheel. I will merely fly down there and rent a car and go to somebody else's fifth wheel or somebody else's mobile home or whatever. And I think a lot of people do that sort of thing. So to me, this is a very exciting time for if I think about it the right way. So somebody asked, are you still going to travel? I think, yes, I will. Probably not the way I was doing it, but this time it'll be for me. I really haven't traveled much in the last decade for me. I've traveled for, as you know, I've traveled for other people, but there's not very much that I've done for me. So to me, it's like, okay, where would I like to go? Who would I like to visit? So it's a very different way of life, but let's carry on with the reality of this. The next quote I have, and I think worth a little bit of thought, is some people would rather look backward than forward because it's easier to remember where you've been than to figure out where you're going. How many of you relate to that? My reality when I was talking to this is because, I was asked, are you excited about the move? I said, not particularly, no. And they said, why are you moving if you're not excited about it? I said, because I need to. And the thing is this, I'm not in a space where I get all excited about things anymore like that. I mean, you'll see me do this every now and then. And to me, it's like, hey, I was perfectly honest. I'm not in a hurry to leave my beautiful home. I'm going to, but to me, I'm not excited about leaving it. No. Am I excited about leaving my 16.5 feet by 14-foot bedroom to go live in something that's probably 10 foot, no, 8 foot by 8 foot? No. But will I learn to adapt? Absolutely. So to me, it's like, it's not about it being exciting. It's about it being a change. I'm lowering my carbon footprint. Funnily enough, I think people are afraid of change. I'm not afraid of it as much as I wonder whether I'll be able to adapt. That is my big question. when you're at this age, to change that much is not easy. But boy, I haven't been, when I think about how many times in my life I've completely changed my life, I've traveled from one country to another twice. I've done some pretty big moves in my time, and literally done them with a suitcase, and built everything up and then left with a suitcase and moved on. And so, I something tells me I can do it. I just need to work out what I want to take with me. I think that's the sad thing, Boob. The sad thing is to realize that I've already have got my garage stacked up with things that I probably am going to end up giving away or throwing away. That's the interesting part about it, because as I look around, what's still upstairs and not in my garage is the stuff that I live with every day, right? That I need to survive. But I'm looking at, my big couch and my love seat and my ottoman, and I'm going, yeah, but they'll probably be gone. I won't be taking them with me. Yeah, and that's it. The funny thing is, I am very busy looking at all my power tools and stuff like that. Now, I've got to be the only person in the world that's more concerned about my power tools than I am about certain other things. You know what I mean? Do I have room to take my bench saw that I haven't used in a while, but, I want to go back to using it? Do I have room to take, I know I've got room to take my silhouette die cutting machine. I'm glad that's nice and small. I know where I'm going to put that. Yeah, but I want to take my power tools. I want to take my routers. I want to do, because I want to go back to doing that. And I've got a she shed, not a man cave. I've got a she shed that I could do that in. And so I'm busy trying to get all my tools, put aside. Plus, I've got tools that most men would die to have. You know what I mean? I've got a garage full of not just one router. I think I've got 4, different sizes for different sort of things. I've got biscuit cutters, and I've got, you name it. I've got everything down there. And I'm pretty sure that there'd be a lot of people that would probably like to rent those from me. For a small deposit. Would you like to just, give me $10? It's yours for the week. Whatever it is. Or just lend them out. I think I would take a deposit, though, because there's some pretty expensive tools there. So, all right, now listen to this quote and see what it brings up for you. Yeah, it's actually in an RV park. But they have a lot of long-term people there, Lee. For those watching on the replay, Lee just asked me, so this fifth wheel is in a lot. It's in an RV park where they've, one section of it is for full-time people. So listen to this. Keep your head and your heart going in the right direction, and you'll not have to worry about your feet. I love that. Keep your head and your heart going in the right direction, because your feet will follow, right? So that's why, like for example, the guy that's selling the fifth wheel, he wrote to me and said he's so sorry. He hasn't got back to me this week because he's been so busy doing. I said, hey, you're totally forgiven. It's okay. Because I know he wants to sell me the unit, and he knows I want to buy it. So another week's not going to make a whole lot of difference, right? So I really love that. Keep your head and your heart going in the right direction. Yeah. Does that bring up anything for anybody? Where you can think, yeah, that's what I need to do. I just need to keep my head and my heart going in the right direction. Everything else will follow. Yes, that is so, Boob, that is a great thing. It's kind of like a slinky dog. He just started off in one direction and the rest of it just follows and carries on. Yes, very good idea, right? And by the way, you don't have to push it or you don't have to, make it go. It just goes at its own speed. That is such a good analogy. That's what I love doing the broadcast. You guys are so smart. And that is it. Have you noticed it goes at its own speed and it copes beautifully. It has its own inertia, I think is the right way of wording that. All right, so here's the next one. A goal to be the best is more important than a goal to be the biggest. That one really resonates with me. Wow. Not that I ever wanted to do Dear Mama Sal to be the best. No, that wasn't true. But I have noticed, and I must admit that I know that Benji and Judy have mentioned this to me, that, I just said all I want to do is to help somebody. And I never know which day I'm going to help somebody. So that's why I do it the way that I do, because I will never know the day that somebody really needs to be helped. But all I would like to know is that they know where to go when they need it. I don't need to be the best or the biggest either, Boob. I just need to know that I did my best. I think there's a difference in that. So, for example, I was I don't mind telling you. Hi, Beth. I don't mind telling you that I was very exciting when we got to 1 million views. Yeah, I was very excited when we got to 100 views. I was then very excited when we got to 1,000 views. And then 10,000 was, wow, look at that. We got 10,000 views. And, I realized that they all felt the same. You know what I mean? It was just like, quite honestly, the excitement about 10,000 was no more than the excitement I had at 100. It was just like the same again. And I'm looking at it and going, 1 million was great. Yes, Jody, exactly. You strive just to be somewhere and be present and do the best you can, right? I think it's really important that, now Beth is a big gamer and she's just reached the top level of her game. You know what worries me about that, Beth? What worries me about that is you're an overachiever from all that you have told me, and that's not a bad thing. But it's like, when you have done all the things that they put in your path, do you understand that that game won't feel the same? All right, because you haven't got the new goal ahead of you. So to me, it's like, yeah, you're tired from gaming. Yeah, exactly. So, what I find really, by the way, Beth, I wanted to ask a question. You don't have to tell me the figure, but have you spent a lot of money on this game? Because what really surprised me is how, in order to do well in some of these games today, these big multiplayer games, you have to spend money. And I don't know about the rest of you. That's like, this is a nice business to do people with. You know what I mean? It's like, wow, you design a game so that if you want to get ahead in a hurry, you need to spend money. And I don't know, there was something about that really triggered me at some level. I think I spent $25, but I'm going, that's it for the month, Um, but I could see how there was one guy that I was playing with, and I think he was quite a young guy, and he was busy talking about spending 400 or 500, and I said, "Wow, it must be nice to have that sort of money." And he said, "Well, actually, I can't afford it." Yes. So Beth's saying the game cost, about $50 and then $15 a month. But over and above that, you didn't have to. Yeah. So over and above that, you didn't need to put any more money in. That's good. So a game that costs you $15 a month, first of all, the upfront cost of $50 to buy the game, no issue with that. The $15 a month, I have to say, if you get that much pleasure out of it for $15 a month, for that much entertainment, you could spend $15 to go to one movie, without even touching sides. So to me, yeah, that's good entertainment. And how long have you been playing the game? I'm just looking because I don't think you were here at lunchtime when I showed this. For 12 years. Really? You see, isn't that amazing? So that is incredible entertainment that it's kept you. You're not an easy person to keep entertained, I would think, Beth. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure you get bored pretty easily with things. So that a game has kept you focused for 12 years. Yeah, exactly, Boob. So $15 a month to do that is incredible entertainment for the money. What I found, and I've got the documentation here to show you, Beth. I found it interesting. It affected my blood pressure. Absolutely. Beth is saying she actually started it with her husband, and it kind of saves us money because we play together. And if we actually went out, we would spend more. You definitely would. Right. And so I think that in your case, this was and this is I think it's wonderful that you both enjoy the game together. And I think there are a lot of people that do that. Yeah. So I think that's a step in the right direction. As I said, my biggest concern for you, Beth, is now that you've reached the very top tier of it, are they going to bring in more levels, do you think? Because I'm thinking if the game's been around for 12 years, they must keep bringing in new parts to it, new challenges, new realms, new whatever it is that they bring in, all right? Because you can't keep a game going for that long. That's a good one, Beth. That's saying, actually, my husband played first and he got addicted to it and I was complaining all the time. So this is a case of either, join in or, yeah. And so you decided rather than nag about it, you decided to join the game. And then you could totally understand why he spent the time that he did. It's called World of Warcraft, yeah. Nana, it depends on what sort of games you like. It's a very high strategy game. It is a multiplayer game. Uh, it is pretty violent in places. Yeah. So it's a case of yes, probably your son does. A lot of people play it. Yes, and it's like people, playing golf or whatever. If you enjoy the game together, you know where your husband is at night. You know why he's spending time on the computer. I think there are a lot of pluses to that, Beth. And obviously, you both can talk about it and understand what each other are talking about because you both play the game. So that to me is I think any game that can keep you interested for 12 years is wonderful, really. So that's interesting. Your daughter grew up on the game as well. So you all grew, played it as a family as well. Wow. Yeah, you can play it, you play it internationally. Hi, Becca. Good to see you, honey. Becca was at Tim Hortons today, Nana. In Ohio. I'm going, Timmy's. Yeah. What did you have at Timmy's, Becca? And for those of you who don't know Tim Hortons, it is the Canadian coffee shop. Yeah. So the next question is, what would you try to accomplish if you believed it was impossible to fail? Right? What would you try if you knew you couldn't fail at it? Can you think of anything? What would you like to try if you knew that you couldn't fail? What would I like to try if I knew I couldn't fail? No, I don't play that game. No. I'm trying to think what I would like to try if I knew I couldn't fail. Probably something. Yeah, Beth, I really believe that you should. Beth, I want to tell you something. With your work ethic and your ability to do things, I would think you would do a really good job at being an entrepreneur. Yes, that's a good one, Boo. If I knew I couldn't fail, I'd bet everything I own on black at the casino. That's a great, yeah, it's just like, no, actually, if I knew I couldn't fail, I'd probably put it on 0 at the casino. All right, so Nana's saying she'd love to fly. And then Jody's saying she'd love to have an Etsy shop for her crafts. That's awesome. Becca's saying that she just got accepted for a possible new job as a cashier. That's awesome. Well done, Becca. I'm so proud of you. Yes, Beth's saying that she'd really like to work for herself. Well, I think you already do. I think we all do in some way. I quite honestly, Beth, I think with your work ethic and with your mentality, you would do very well. The other thing I know, Beth, what you don't know about running a business, you'd find out in a hurry. Oops, excuse me. Well, that's great, Becca, right? When people start saying to you, I'm so glad, excuse me, you came. Oh, and you helped out. Oh, so sorry. I got the hic. So, yeah, and I think that's a mentality as well, Becca. It's like Beth, Beth, I'm certain that Beth would exceed at any job she ever did. And it's funny, Beth, I was talking to Dougie today when he was there, and I was saying there are some people who do the absolute minimum, and there are some people who are constantly looking for things to do. Right? And it's, it's two different mentalities. And so to me, if you are a sort of person that's always looking for what needs to be done, then, that makes you a very useful employee. Now, some people do it at the beginning just to impress people. You've got 5 buildings now, Beth. That's awesome. How many will you need before you start thinking about bringing somebody on to help you? And how would you find that person? I'd like you to start thinking about that. All right. Which is, at some stage, you're going to have to share this. If you're going to run a business, you can't do it on your own all the time. Yeah. Boob's saying that the best way to grow a company is to give excellent customer service. Good word of mouth will grow a company, just like bad word of mouth will kill a company. The other thing is, Beth, do you have business cards for your business? Because if you don't, I suggest that you start by printing some up. Today you can do it. Yeah, today you can, just go get the thing at the local Staples or whatever, and you can just make your own. But here's what I'm saying to you. I would start actually telling people what you do. When people say, "What do you do?" I clean. I have a business cleaning offices. So the other thing is, and if you happen to know anybody that needs somebody to help them, I have a janitorial company, and just hand out a business card. I would actually suggest you hand out two, one for them to keep and one to feel free to pass one on to somebody that you know that might need it. But what I would say to them is I would actually say, feel free to stick this to your fridge because you're never going to know when somebody says to you, do you happen to know anybody who? And the answer is yes. I've got that person stuck on my fridge at the moment. So I don't know why it really helps to tell people what to do with the business card. Or if you happen to have, one of those systems that scans business cards, into your computer, at least you will know. Or how about just, put me into the computer under business cleaning or janitorial, whichever word works for you. Yes, you see, Beth, I think you're a natural for running your own business. But again, start thinking about who else you're going to employ. Yes, Becca's saying, my dream is to have enough success in my photography endeavors to need a business card. I want to tell you something, Becca. One of the first things I did when I started DearMamaSal was to print up business cards. I knew I was going to need them. Right? So I didn't wait until I could prove that I needed them. I knew I was going to need them. Yes, they call it the elevator phrase, Boob. Boob's saying, also think up a catchy phrase for your business. You'd be amazed how a catchy phrase sticks in people's heads when they need what you have to offer. The catchy phrase will get you the business. Yes. Okay, wait a minute, Becca. You're saying just the level of authority that requires to have that much skill to share that to their area. I'm not sure if I understand that. So try wording that a different way for me. But to me, there was no doubt in my mind I would need business cards. And I am actually quite surprised how often I will hand out a business card on DearMamaSal. And by the way, it doesn't have my telephone number on it. It just has my YouTube address and my email. So to me, but for somebody like Beth or, Becca, what sort of photography do you want to do? Do you know? Do you want to be doing flower photography? Do you want to be doing weddings? Do you want to be doing what type of photography? Hi, Erin. Good to see you. Don't worry about being late. We're just glad you're here. Well, you've got a lifetime for that to happen, Becca. But when somebody says to you, what do you do? And you say, hey, I'm a photographer. By the way, if ever you know somebody who needs one, here's my card. I can, Becca, I'm going to tell you a story you probably are not going to be able to. So Cindy, is it your birthday? I've just got a note here from Cindy, and she says, "Happy birthday, Mama Sal. Love and support from Hong Kong." That's so cute. I believe your birthday is a week before mine. I hope I remembered it correctly. Yes, my birthday is coming up. You're quite right. What are we today? The 17th. I've got 13 more days, 2 weeks. So your birthday is next week, Cindy. Yes. So Becca's saying something possibly like social justice, documenting the less fortunate, connecting with the raw experiences in life. What a great thing. There's some people that do some beautiful work in that. And also documenting the beauty in the world that we miss. Yeah, two incredible things. And maybe, put them all into a book. All right, so Jody's going to take notes here. We've got Cindy Chun's birthday. What date is yours, Cindy? And Beth on the 26th. I think I've got that in. For some reason, I didn't have Lauren's in my system, but I did. I just didn't put that in. Yours is the 24th. Yeah, mine. Oh, so you took it the other way. Yeah, mine is the 30th. Every year. By the way, I love it when people ask me, "When's your birthday?" August the 30th. Yeah, every year. And they go, "What?" I go, "You asked me." Yeah, every year. No, I meant the year that you were born. Different question. I can tell you that. People. So, by the way, here's something else that I know I've probably mentioned this to you before, but I really am quite strong on it. When you go to places and they say name and you give it, and there are people around you, and then they go date of birth, telephone number, and I won't give that. I will write it down. I won't talk about it. Do any of you understand what I'm saying? That's basic information for people. Your name, your date of birth, your telephone number. You know what scammers can do with those 3 bits of information? Yeah, exactly. So I literally will say to people, I'm certain a lot of people give you that information out loud. I will not do that. That is very private information. And normally when they ask for my telephone number, I will say something smart like, "Men have died for less than that." Let me write that down for you. It's just like, I try not to get angry about it, but do you understand the risk you take when you repeat those things out loud in a waiting room or whatever? It's true, boo. It's just like, "Excuse me?" But I don't say that. I go, "Let me write that down. I really would rather not say that out loud." And how about that? Do you still live at, and then they give you your address. And I go, "Do you understand you've just put my life at risk by giving everybody in the reception my address?" Yeah, because I don't think that people realize how dangerous that is today. Really dangerous. No, I said they died for less than that. Not that they have died for my number. They've died for less than my number. Yes, it's, to me, it's like, or I will say to them, "Why don't you write down what and actually, no, I don't do that because that's not what they want. They're actually trying to verify they got the real person. So please be very careful about that, people. It's one of those things that we don't give enough space to. in my view. So that's a really good step forward towards better security, is do not just arbitrarily give out your information out loud. It's very dangerous. I like this quote. It says, "It's not failure, but low aim that is the crime." Right? So, if your goals are like this, that's as far as you're going to go. What is the saying? Aim for the moon and you'll hit the stars, or whatever. It's like, it's. I really, when I think about this whole thing that I'm busy doing, I just don't have a whole lot of fear about it, because I know the world is unfolding as it should, right? I know that if I meant to do this, it will continue to go in the right direction. And if the wheels come off it, it wasn't what I was meant to do. I'm in a very sort of Zen place about it. For some reason, and I'm not quite sure why, but I am. I don't think it's that I'm uninterested. It's just like I'm doing it at the right speed for me. So what I would say is that when you have a goal, we started with this, when you have a goal, you have somewhere to head towards. I have to thank Nana. Yeah, I think it comes with age as well. I have to thank you, Nana, because I remember very early on, you said, "Where are you going to move to?" And I said, "I don't know. I'll worry about that after I've sold the house." And as the time has gone on, I realized that I did need to know where I'm going to go, because that sets the direction of everything. But at the time, I really just wanted to sell the house and then have all the time in the world to think about it. What I realize is I'm going to buy the trailer so I can sit in it and think whether that's where I want to be, or move on to whatever it is. But I've got the trailer in the meantime. Do you understand? I've got the dirty great fifth wheel to start with. And I think that quite shocked people, that I would consider spending, that sort of money just so I could sit and think about it. Feng shui. Yeah. Great minds have purposes and others have wishes. I have studied it at some boob, yes. I've actually done a course in it and so forth. I can't say that I'm totally into it. No, but I mean, I have studied it, like a lot of things in my life. Yeah. I certainly don't have the flow of energy being blocked as you come in the door or whatever. I don't follow it all, but I am aware of it and I understand the principles of it. How's that? But that would be true of my life on many areas. I have some knowledge. Small, but some. And this one is, yes, it's about the positive and negative energies. But it's also about how you set up a room, Becca. Right? It's like, there are certain ways that in the study of that, and it's an interesting study, by the way. You would probably find it quite interesting, Becca. It's all about how you set up a room, how you how the flow and energy of the room goes. So yes, it is about the positive and negative energies. The other thing is, how many of you are really into knowing which direction your head is in? When you get into bed, do you know it makes a tremendous difference as to where your head is in a room, or in terms of the compass. Did you know that? I'm trying to see if I can find my compass here so I can tell you. There we go. Let me see if I can get a compass up here. Yeah, and that is very important. I would have thought I already have a compass in my. Hang on a second. You understand? I've just changed my phone, so ow. So I've got to find out where to find things now. Hang on a second. C for compass. There we go. I thought I already had one. By the way, it was quite funny. Apparently, I had over 100 and something apps in my phone. My answer was so. It's like I didn't know that there was a C for cookie. Yeah, right. Um, all right. So do you know what direction your head is when you sleep? And you might want to just Google that. Funnily enough, I think that they say, I'm trying to remember what they said was the best one. I face south when I sleep. All right, yours faces west, right? So here's the thing: if you're not sleeping well, you might want to do a bit of research on that. I'm thinking about Jody as well, and just do a bit of research in that because I believe that by changing the angle, where your head faces, changes your sleep pattern. All right, so Beth is face down. All right, that is, I'm. Yeah, how many of you sleep on your side? Yes, Jody, I believe that head facing north for some reason tells me that that actually is the preferred way. No, yeah, that's a good point. Not where your eyes are looking, where your head is pointing. Okay? So my head faces south, but occasionally I used to turn around so that my head was facing north. Yes, and that's if I have trouble sleeping, I actually will turn around and so that my head is pointing north. The problem I have is I'm on a CPAC machine, so that really that really is a bit of a problem. All right. So your head is pointing towards the east. I'm trying to work out, Boob, if your head is pointing north, how can you be looking south? That is impossible. If your head is pointing north, how can your eyes be looking south? Unless you got eyes at the bottom of your feet. So help me with that one. So your pillow is, yeah, most of us sleep lying down. Yeah, but here's the point. If this is your head and your head is pointing north, your eyes are either looking straight up or to the side. They are not looking to the end of your feet. This would be south. So help me understand this. Where am I not getting this? Right? If your head is pointing north, your eyes are either looking up or this way or this way. I don't see how your eyes can be looking. Then if you'd have to have your head up pointing in a different direction. If your head is tilted slightly, you still wouldn't see south. Unless you're up like this. But then your head wouldn't be pointing north. Your head would be okay. I'll sort of work that out later tonight. I personally don't see it. I can't see my toes unless I lift my head away from north. No. I cannot have my head at north and seem and oh, wait a minute. If I'm on my side, yeah, I suppose when I'm sleeping, I don't see anything. My eyes are closed, honey. Yeah, but I still don't see, I don't look at my toes when I'm asleep because my eyes are closed. Anyway, I'll think about that a bit more. I'm sure you're right. But how many of you can see my point of view, which is if you're lying, even slightly raised, your head is north, your eyes will either be looking up or sideways. They don't look down. If your head is higher, then your head is, I suppose if your head is high enough, right? That's interesting, Beth. Does your dog always sleep with its head to the west? You know, we're all going to be going to bed tonight going, can I see my toes? I never look at my toes when I go to sleep. Yes, now there's got to be a good reason for that, Beth, right? You know, I'm a great believer in take notice of dogs. Dogs do some interesting things. Exactly, Becca. That's what I'm saying. I don't get to see my toes when I sleep, right? They're either under a blanket or under a sheet or my eyes are closed. So, I don't do a big study of my feet when I'm sleeping. Mind you, Boob, you would love this. I was in for a stress test once. And when I'd done the stress test, and apparently I sent all the bells and whistles going, but it was quite funny because this doctor came in, and he and I didn't realize I'd set off all the alarm bells. I thought it was for somebody else. And the doctor came in. I said, "Hey, there's an emergency out there somewhere. Maybe you want to go and check it out." And he goes, "No, I'm aware of that." And it turned out it was for me. Anyway, so the interesting thing was he said to me, "How do you sleep?" I said, "Very well, and you?" I mean, and he said, "No. I mean, how do you sleep?" And I said, "Well, let me think about that." I closed my eyes and probably start snoring. And he said, "No, it's not what I mean." So I said, "Why don't you ask me the question you actually want to ask me?" Because how do I sleep asks me, how do I do it? Right? So to me, it was just like, but when I said to him, "Very well, and you?" The guy had great difficulty keeping a straight face. And he was trying to be really serious at the time. And he said, "Oh, this is going to be interesting." I said, "Yeah, you can give." But, I think, all right. So listen to this. Dogs have a good reason for doing everything, right? So I think all humans have a good reason for doing what they do. So let me look at this. Beth says, "I think my dog sleeps opposite of me because I put my hand on him and rub his back. So if I'm west, his head is to the east. And if I switch north, then he goes south, right? So that he's in just the right position for her to, I totally, totally understand that. Dogs are very smart. What I can never understand is, I had a Bean Bean when Bean Bean was alive. He was over 5 foot, tip of the tail to the top of his nose, right? When I measured him, he was over 5 foot. The question was, why did he not lie on the bed like a human, with his head up on the pillow and, stretched that way? Why did he always have to do the 5 foot across the bottom of the bed? Could somebody tell me why they do that to you? It's just like, could you just turn around, please, and do it the other way? And, you know, I cannot tell you how many times, I literally had to sort of gently push him, like almost push him off the bed to get him to move, because it was like, excuse me, this is my side. I love you dearly, but this is my bed. I bought it. This is my bed. I get to choose to stretch my legs, you know, and you could see him get really upset with me and, try and make, and when you're fighting a big, a big dog, I was amazed how many times I would wake up in the middle of the night and he'd be right there again. Yes, you're right, Jody. The reason they do that is because they can. Yeah, absolutely, Jody. Yeah. And they do regularly, right? And I people have said to me, you push him off the bed. I said, yeah, if he doesn't move. Oh, that's so cute. Beth says that when her husband leaves in the morning, her little Peanut switches and puts his head on the side. He goes to her husband's side and puts his head on the pillow. Yeah, I know. Isn't that amazing, Becca? When you think about it, talk about unconditional love. It's just like, excuse me, I just booted you off the bed and you still love me. Mind you, I think the dog that really made me laugh the most was at one time I had a little Dachshund for some reason when I was in Africa. And that little thing, had a way of waking me up that was like no other. And I just wonder how your dogs wake you up when they need to. This Dachshund used to stick his cold nose into my ear and then bark. I go, that works. That wakes me up. Yep. So to me, this is less like, it's like, now, Bud, who came before Bean, Bud was a cross German Shepherd Border Collie. He had this wonderful trick. The very edge of a mattress has that little sort of ridge on it. Bud would pull his, he would slam a paw down and then pull his nails and hit that ridge so that it went, and it was just like, I don't think I have a siren here. Oh, I do. Oh, that's amazing. That's how good my earphones are. I actually had to remove my earphones to hear it. That's right. Yeah, so Peanut takes his paws and then slides your blanket off when he needs, yeah. Yeah, to me, I mean, dogs are incredibly talented, right? As to how they get attention. Yeah, you see, I couldn't hear it because I've got noise canceling earphones on. So the gaming ones, right? So I look at it and I go, I don't know what your goals are in life. How many of you still write down goals? I want to tell you that I find 8-pound dogs a lot more scary than big ones, quite honestly. And I don't blame them because we must look like giants to them. I am a great believer in having goals, but I don't let them. I'm not somebody that. Okay, let me see if I understand it. I think I must be starting to get settled for bed, making sure I get enough muscle relaxation, been getting worse. What has been getting worse? Becca, just so I understand. Oh, your muscle tension. Are you getting cramps? What does the doctor say, Becca? Because are you standing a lot at work? Okay, Becca, what about Charlie horses? Are you getting those? So the thing that I would like to say is it's a really good idea to discuss this with your doctor because you're doing a job that, you're using muscles that you probably weren't using too much before, and you are overworking certain muscles. And I'm certain your doctor can help you in terms of what is the best thing to do to help you with that. And you may find out that, getting some physio was a good idea. Um, I found, for example, Becca, that I didn't realize it, but um, I was getting a lot of leg cramps, and I didn't know that I was suffering from restless leg syndrome at night. After I went to sleep, and a very simple thing for me was I was told to take calcium and magnesium. And it was really interesting because as soon as I started taking calcium and magnesium at night, the leg cramps stopped and the muscle cramps stopped. It was, really quite strange. And now I can tell if I've forgotten to take them because I will start getting them back again. So it's not your legs, it's mostly your upper back and neck. So it is possible that you might need some physio or a chiropractor or something. You've probably, found that you pulled a couple of muscles you hadn't had reason to use before. So I would talk to your doctor about it, Becca. You know, yeah, but you're self-medicating. So be careful of that, right? Because it may be something more important than that. If it's constant, how long have you been having this problem? Because if it's more than a couple of days, you should have somebody look at it. Yes, Boob, I agree with you. Be careful not to twist a lot. All right. When you need to do something, point your feet in the direction of where you want to go. That's really good advice. Not necessarily if you're on the top of a ladder, but yeah, other than that, it's a really good, put your feet in the direction that you want to be going. The other thing is, you're probably leaning down and picking up stuff as well. Right. So here's the thing. I've always been susceptible to backache, but it's really so. What does your doctor say? Because I'm certain that if you've had it since June, I'm sure you've talked to a doctor about it. So, you're doing a lot of exercises. Did they train you on the right way to lift weights? Did they train you? Right, Becca, you need to talk to your doctor, honey. You know, this is one of the things I really try to get through to you. That to complain about a backache and muscle ache from June to August and you haven't talked to your doctor, that is not adult behavior, right? That is suffering. Why would you choose? Suffering is a choice, Becca, right? Understand this. We all do things and we get pain. But if you suffer with it for 3 months, that is a choice. I have not been to, get the right advice on this. So, I would ask you, and I say, it's like the adult behavior because a kid will complain, an adult will do something about it. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? I'm not saying that you're a baby. I'm saying that think about that. You'd hope it would go away. Really? Seriously? Do you know the five most, I believe I've heard said that the five most used words in ICU is, I thought it would go away. 6 words. To suffer is a choice. right? So if you've got a pain for more than a couple of days and you are not, if I understand that you probably get it for a couple of days, then maybe you take some ibuprofen. But if you have had pain for 3 months, that is your choice, right? Yeah, I've got back issues as well. I've got some quite serious problems. But when I have pain, I do something about it. I either take ibuprofen, or if the ibuprofen isn't doing it, I will go and talk to somebody. Yeah, Becca, but that's what I'm saying. So if it's not a constant pain, what do you do about it when you get it? Right? Do you take something to stop the pain? Yeah. So to me, it's like either don't complain about it or do something about it, right? Yeah, exactly. Good night to you, Nana. Yes, Becca. So, but if you're taking the Advil, you probably wouldn't have muscle pain anymore. And if you are still getting muscle pain when you're taking Advil, then that definitely you need to get it checked out, honey. Right? And by the way, just like, if what is occasionally, is it like out of a week, how many days are you in pain? Yeah, that's right. You take a big swig of Jack Daniels, that'll sort the pain out. Yeah, boo. I would not wish a cortisone shot on anybody. I had one in my thumb, and I tell you something, I don't want that again. So 1 to 2, what, days, hours? So that's all I'm saying, Becca. Do you understand what I'm saying? Which is, if you've got a pain, do something about it, right? You get them in your back every 3 months. That's not normal. When I'm saying, I get back pain a lot of the time, right? It has to do with my age. So to me, it's just like, oh, most of the time it's just a nagging pain. Every now and then it gets pretty bad, in which case I, like you, take ibuprofen or Advil or whatever. But, if you only get the pain. Yes, Beth, I understand that. You get them from your lesions. Yes. So, Becca, that's what I'm a bit concerned about. Is it possible that it isn't just a backache every 3 months? If it's that regular, if it's like literally every 3 months it happens to you, or is it that it doesn't happen all the time? It's just about once every couple of times a year it happens, because once every 3 months is only 4 times a year. Because the way you were talking about it, it sounded like it was a lot more consistent. So as long as you understand what I'm saying, if you're going to complain about it, do something about it. Is what I always say to people when they go, oh yeah, but I've really had this big problem. It's been going on for a long time. My answer is, what did the doctor say? Well, I haven't been. Well, please don't nag about it. If you haven't bothered to go to the doctor and talk about it, how can I help you? Yes, I agree with you, Beth. If you have a regular pain, it's your body trying to tell you something. It needs to be checked out. I quite agree with you, Beth. Becca, if it's relevant, it's to both of you, right? It's like, understand your body in pain is a warning sign of some sort. There's something going on. Your body tells you, your body tells you if it needs some attention. So if you have a regular pain, I'm still trying to work out. It started off being a regular pain, and then it moved to once every 3 months. So which is it? So I can understand. But it doesn't really matter. I'm talking generically to everybody. If your body is causing you pain, there's a reason for it. You've either strained a muscle, or you have twisted a nerve, or whatever it is. And so do something. Now, it may be, and I haven't checked that out, are any of you of a religious belief that you should not take ibuprofen, or Advil or whatever, because that is a whole different story. If you have a religious disposition that doesn't allow you to take medications. So I'm not fighting against that one. The cortisone shots are every 3 months. Ah, okay, fine. That is a very painful shot. Is yours painful, Beth? But you need them because of your MS, is that right? Yeah, that's good, Becca. Exactly, right? So if you take a shower or take Advil and it helps it go away, then then you're doing the right things. But the way you started this conversation sounded like it was a lot more dramatic than that, Becca. So forgive me for going that route, but the way you started this sounded like it was really quite dramatic, this pain. And that it was ongoing. So that's why I went the route that I did. And so if it's only that it happens occasionally once or twice a week and you know how to fix it, then my apologies. If it's very, very intense, you need to speak to a doctor. That's exactly the point. No, but even if you get that on a regular basis, that it's very, very intense, right? That is your body trying to tell you something. And to me, it sounds like you may have twisted a nerve or something. Yeah, you know something, Boob? I'm the same way. I fight against taking pills as well. I'm not a pill popper. What I have discovered, though, is that there are certain things I have to now, at my age, I have to accept the fact that I've got arthritis. Maybe, Becca, maybe. If you've got a very, very, you're not somebody that says that, a very, very intense pain, that is on a scale of 1 to 10, how bad is it? Because a very, very intense pain sounds like a very high number. Yeah, and that's what I'm worried about. Becca, if it's a 9.5 out of 10, you need to be talking to your doctor about it, even if it only happens occasionally. All right, because you may need to have your, back scanned just to make sure there's not something wrong, honey. Right. Becca, just so that you know, I had a scan done of my spine. I was having a little bit of difficulty walking, and I didn't want to be considered a wuss, but I was having a problem. And a chiropractor actually did a spine X-ray of me. And, when she did it, Becca, her question to me was, how are you walking at all? Right? And I said, what? And she said, I think you used the words when you came in that you didn't want to be a wuss, but, you've got some problem with your back at the moment. She said, I'm looking at this X-ray, and my question to you is, how are you even upright and walking? I said, what are you talking about? She said, you see, the green areas is when the nerve is healthy. The red is when it's under stress. And I said, okay, fine. Oh, I think there was some orange and then some reds, right? I said, what about all those black ones? you know me. What about all those black ones? And she said, the black ones means that the intensity of the pain is so high that it's off the scale. And I said, but nearly half of mine are black. And she said, which is why I'm asking, how are you walking? Okay, Becca, do you understand you need to get this checked out, honey? Right? So go to your doctor and explain what's happening. And by the way, maybe you've noticed that it happens when you do certain tasks more than others. That could be part of it. All right? So hear the love in this, not the judgment. All right? I am trying to make sure that you understand that you need to be accountable for your own body here. I don't think a 9.5 out of 10 pain has to do with depression. I had about half my nerve endings black on my spine. That's why the chiropractor wanted to know how I was walking. And I said, with great difficulty. Yeah, you bet. But, the interesting thing was, I had to go for a lot of therapy on it. But, the good news was that she fixed it. And I still have a little bit of an issue, but it certainly isn't a 9 point. I want to tell you, if I had 9.5 out of 10 level pain, I would not be talking here about it. I would be at my doctor going, I've got a 9.5 out of 10 pain, and I don't think that's right. I just went to the chiropractor, and my particular chiropractor, before they start working on your back, do a complete spinal x-ray, right? They literally x-ray the whole of your back and find out what's going on. It's I think it's called a thermal x-ray. So it doesn't show, it's not like a regular x-ray, it's called a thermal x-ray. So it picks up the nerve. Well, that's what they said. And I've still got it somewhere. It was fascinating. And the interesting thing was when it was color-coded. Becca, sweetie, a 9.5 out of 10 pain is not just a massage, right? That to me, you probably need some adjustment. Yeah, something, it was fascinating, Lee, when they did that x-ray. The interesting thing was 6 months later, they did it again. And it was really interesting to see, what had happened to my back. Yes, that's what I'm worried about, Becca, that a massage, I understand why you said a medical massage, but, if I would make sure that, you go the right route with this. A 9.5 pain, that's a screaming point pain. Past a screaming point pain. So, that to me is not a maybe. That's just a serious situation. If I had a 6 to 7 pain, I'd be talking, because that's unusual. If I had that for more than a day, I definitely. Yes, I think a 9.5 is close to zoning out. So yeah. So anyway, Becca, you need to look after this, honey. It's up to you whether you do. We can't force you to do that. But please don't come here and tell us that you've got a 9.5 pain and you're not doing anything about it. Yes, that's why I'm saying go to the doctor. I'm not saying go to a chiropractor. I'm saying go to a doctor. So, yes, but go to your family doctor. Tell the family doctor what's happening so he can refer you to an expert. Yes, Cindy, I'm glad you can see that. I hate to admit that sometimes, Cindy, that suffering is a choice, right? So I can choose to be overweight, right, by what I put in my mouth. I can choose to be happy every day, or I can choose to be sad. I can choose to be in pain or get something done about it. I can choose to, and so you look at it. And what I keep trying to explain to people is, there's so many things in life that are a self-inflicted wound. So suffering is a choice, unless there is nothing medically that they can do about it. All right. So to me, it's like, but if you don't know that, if you're going, oh, well, it's just a pain and it doesn't happen very often. If it's a 9.5 pain, that is not something you should be ignoring. That is not going to go away on its own. A 9.5, that is crawling up the walls painful. I can remember, for example, once I apparently I have quite a high tolerance for pain, and I didn't know that. Except I was at a specialist one day, and he was touching my stomach, and he was saying, "How's the pain level there?" And I said, "That's pretty. Yeah, that's sore. Yeah." And he'd go, "What about this one?" And I go, "Yeah, that's sore." And then he'd press again and go, "What about that?" And I said, "That's pretty sore." And he looked at me and he said, "You have an incredible tolerance to pain." And I said, "Why do you say that?" He said, "That third one, when you said it was pretty sore, the pain was so bad your body lifted." Okay? I want to tell you something, Becca. Don't let's blame the family. You're an adult. You get to make decisions for yourself now. This is not about, oh, well, my parents never allowed me. You're an adult now. You get to make the choice, right? So I guess that it's be tough mentality. No, it's not about that. It's about look after your body, Becca. Stand on your own feet. You're an adult now. What your parents taught you wasn't necessarily right. Yeah. And I don't mean that your parents are wrong, but what I'm saying is they probably were taught that by parents who went through the war or something. You know what I mean? Where everybody was taught that it's not. This is not in your best interest. So I could sit here and feel so sorry for you, and I'm not going to do that. I'm going to ask you to be adult and have it checked out. And by the way, Beth, we don't know that hot and cold, alternating, whatever, because I understand that that's not what they normally recommend, but we don't know. And let's make sure that Becca gets it checked out. You bet that, Beth. But here is the thing. That is the problem, right? You actually do want pity, Becca. I have to tell you that you do. Because if you didn't want pity, you'd be going to get it fixed. Beth, you just said something here. If my doctor was complaining about pain, I would be dragging her by the ears to the doctor. Why are you dragging an adult daughter to the doctor? You don't understand. That means you've taught her to wait until you drag her to the doctor. All right? So you understand what I'm saying? That is teaching your daughter not to look after herself. All right? Any parent that says, we're a tough family, we don't give in to pain. Well, hello, that is teaching your daughter to be suffering a 9.5 pain without doing anything about it. That is dangerous, in my view. So, Becca, I hope you hear that I care enough to tell you this. You didn't mention that. And I know that your daughter is an adult. All right. So you meant when she was not an adult. What about when she's not thinking like an adult? Which is my point. If you are an adult, you do not suffer. You do something about it. And I cannot tell you how many times I have had people phone me up and go, well, this is really bad. And I go, what does the doctor say? Well, I haven't been. Do me a favor. Don't talk to me about it until after you've been to the doctor. Well, I don't feel like going. Then please don't talk to me about it, because either you're going to do something about it or stop complaining about it. Okay, now, Cindy, we all need support, and you know that we give it here. All right. But there's a difference between enabling somebody and holding them accountable for being an adult. And I really want you to understand the difference to that. If we enable people, we keep them in childish thinking, and that is dangerous for an adult. An adult needs to be able to go, I need to get this. This is, innate. I need to get it checked out. This is, not normal. I just dropped that in my coffee. So that is my only concern, right? But we can support as much as we want to, but when we start enabling people, that is dangerous for their health. So that is why I'm very tough on that. I am tough on that because I don't know what's causing that pain. It could be something that's really important that's causing the pain. So, and I hear Becca throw out there, maybe it's depression that's causing it. Well, I've never heard anybody that's had a 9.5 pain level from depression. Depression is in the head. It's right. Your husband is acting like a child because he doesn't want to do the sleep study. Why? Why? What's his reason? What's his excuse for not doing it? I would say out of the bedroom and until you get it done. No, actually, Boop, I think that you come in on the Friday evening ones. We have a number of different men that come in. Funny enough, on different times. We have a very regular viewer from Ireland. We have Andy. Okay, Becca, all the best. Look after yourself, honey, please. We have one that comes in from Australia. So to me, well, oh, Lauren, can I tell the story? Yeah. Lauren is saying, if Sal had enabled me when I was in a bad place and not looking after myself, I would not have gone to the doctor and I would have lost my life. Now, Lauren, I like to think that you would have got there before that happened, but I had to literally say to Lauren, grow up. If you have got these symptoms, you need to be checked out. And when she got to the hospital, she had septicemia of some sort going on, Lauren? Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. If you've got a 9.5 level pain out of 10, that is a serious pain. Right? That is not just I got backache or a serious backache. That's excruciating pain. You see, that's interesting, Lauren. But let me ask you something, Lauren. Would I have to do it to you a second time? I was quite cruel to you that day. I don't mind when I say cruel. I took out a very large 2x4, maybe even 2x6 that day. And I think I said to you, this is your choice. You can either carry on acting like a child or you can do something about it. Your choice. Right? Because there is no way the symptoms you were telling me were just, it'll go away tomorrow. So to me, this is not that I'm right on everything. I don't believe that. But do you understand the point I'm trying to make here, Cindy? Which is either do something about it or stop complaining about it. That is really what this is about, right? If you've got a pain that is that serious, do something about it. Grow up. This is like get it sorted out. How many of you have got friends that do that to you all the time? They phone you all the time and they complain and complain and complain about the same thing. And I just don't think you should allow that to happen. If you allow it to happen, you are enabling it. You are making it worse for your friend. Yes, my question to you, Lauren, is if you got those symptoms again, would you wait that long? I don't think I'd have to do that to you twice, right? But what you didn't see is that right, absolutely not, right? You learned your lesson. You were in denial, that famous river in Egypt. You were in total denial of how bad your health was. And you thought it would go away and you thought it would get better. But, Jody and I were listening to this week after week, and it was getting worse, not better. And that's why, yeah. So, but Lauren, thank you for going. I couldn't force you to go, right? But I do know if I hadn't said that to you that day, that I would never have forgiven myself later when I heard that you died. Right? So to me, the only thing I could do was to really tell you what I was feeling, which was, this is childish behavior. Grow up and go and see a doctor, right? I had to say that to you because it was true from what you were telling me. A child waits to be taken to the doctor, right? Because a child does everything through mommy or daddy or whatever. An adult goes, I'm in trouble here. I need to get somebody looking at this. And by the way, Jody will tell you, because Jody has some good experience. I got a feeling a couple of other people do as well here, that not only do you need to go to the doctor, but you need to be responsible for making sure they give you the right treatment. In other words, I have gone back to my doctor and I've said, you recommended A, B, and C. That isn't working. So what's next? What do we do next? Because that isn't working. Do you remember last year when I had that scare this time last year where they thought I had cancer? Do you know the only way I got the attention I needed was to keep saying, you're not listening to me. I've got these symptoms going on and they're not normal. And I don't really mind that you're blaming it on the fact that I'm 70 or the fact that I'm an ex-smoker or whatever other things you are blaming this on. I need you to listen to me. This is happening to me. It's not normal. I need to find out what's causing it. And because if I don't complain, I don't come here because I, had a small problem. I come here because I have not been able to fix this and I need a doctor to fix it. Now, you're not fixing it yet, and I need to get fixed, please. Yes, Jody, and I knew you'd understand that, right? It's imperative that you become your own best advocate. Doctors are not, and they're the first ones to tell you if they're honest, doctors are not clairvoyant. They can only work on the information you give them. Does that make sense? And sometimes we don't give them the right information. Do you think that Becca's doctor knows that she's got a 9.5 out of 10 pain? No. Right? Because she probably says, well, I'm having a bit of a back problem. That's not what she has. She has a 9.5 out of 10. That is why today in hospitals, they actually ask you that question. Out of 10, how bad is it? Now, by the way, my 9.5 out of 10 may be very different from yours. Yes, Beth, I agree with you. You need to find a doctor that will listen to you. And by the way, you can imagine, I actually feel sorry for my doctor. How many of you are going, I wouldn't want to be Sal's doctor? But, the thing is, he has a great sense of humor and he's actually pretty smart. And I know that, for example, with the sleep apnea, he said that he really thought I had sleep apnea. And I'm going, nah, I don't think so. And he said, well, I think you do. And I said, okay. Well, why don't you let me have those tests done so I can prove you wrong? Because you know me, I've got a sense of humor. Well, we did the tests and guess what? He was right. And I was the first one to say to him, and that's why you're a doctor and I am the patient. And he burst out laughing and he said, you're hysterical. I go, I know. All right. Yes, don't assume that they remember everything that you've told them previously, right? I quite agree, Jody. And I go, hello, I don't know if you've got it written in the file, but these are my symptoms. Right? That's what happened to me, Beth. Yes, When I gave up smoking, it took me longer than you, but my blood pressure dropped dramatically. Yes. Wow. Hi, Niasha. I think it's Niasha. I'm not sure how you pronounce that, but welcome. I've never seen that name before. I'm pretty sure of that. Let me read this now. I've got many health issues started from birth to now, and my parents never really seeked any interest in getting it fixed. All they did was accept it. How does that feel? But how old are you now? May I ask that? Right. The reason I'm asking is because I want to get some sort of idea of when you woke up to the fact that maybe you needed to do something about it. You're 33. At what age did you realize, I'm an adult now, I can get this looked at? And I don't mind telling you, if that had happened to me, I'd probably be pretty angry at some level. I have to be quite honest. I think if I had tried to explain that I was having issues and my parents never sought to have them looked at, I think I'd be pretty angry. Niesha is a really unusual name. What is its background? Well, welcome. And 33 is a great year. But I am so glad. So you've been ghosting. I love it when people ghost and suddenly come out of the woodwork. It's wonderful. Thank you. Obviously this is a subject that was dear to your heart. So I am glad that I carried on broadcasting after my time so that we could hear from you. And welcome. There are a lot of people who understand what you're talking about. You see, 33 is a great year. I can remember changing quite dramatically when I was about 33. There's certain periods of your life that you go, I think I'll grow up a bit more now. It's really interesting. Well, it's great to see you here. How long have you been listening to the broadcasts in terms of, is this the first broadcast you've listened to, or have you listened to others? And and where do you live in terms of country? Are you in, the US, Canada? Are you in Middle East somewhere, or Hong Kong? Or, I'm always fascinated at the people that come in to talk to us and how you found us. That's also an interesting thing. But main thing is, thank you for letting us know. And let me ask the rest of the viewers, and I am going to close the broadcast soon, but in terms of the rest of the viewers, at what age did you realize that you were responsible for your health and well-being? That it was no longer, you know, something where you waited for the parents to do something. Can you remember when that moment was? I'm thinking back, and I know it's a very different era, but I left home at 18. And, I want to tell you, yeah, Beth's saying at 47. Yeah, it takes some of us longer. You're right, Beth. And again, and that's what you're teaching. That's what you've been teaching, up until now, but you were teaching your child as well, right? Yes, I found when, I left home at 18, and I must admit, I think I started to be pretty independent right off. And I'd go home and my mom would say to me, well, Da, da, da. I go, don't worry about it. I got it sorted, right? Cindy, you came back to Vancouver from Hong Kong. Well, is that my Vancouver in British Columbia, or is it Vancouver in Washington State? You're from Trinidad and Tobago. I've got something to show you. Hang on a second. And I want to say it's a small world because, oh, I lie. I thought these were from Trinidad. They're not. They're from Jamaica. Okay, my bad. So, welcome. I really do welcome you. And you know, it's always lovely when I hear that you originally met me through Judy's channel. Because I'm amazed actually how many people have found their way here one way or the other. And it's funny because I'm a great believer in the people that need to be here will find their way here. Right? And I love that about doing Dear Mama Sal. Well, here's the interesting thing. I want to tell you something. I admire anybody who can live in Hong Kong. I want to tell you that my memory, I've been to Hong Kong and and I'm so glad I went because it's an experience that everybody deserves to see. And I've been on the Star Ferry and I've been terrified. And I've done a lot of the stuff, but boy, am I glad to live in Vancouver, right? Yes, Beth, if you could have changed anything, you would have gone to school sooner, right? Yeah, it's interesting. Yes, Boob, your first job was at 15, right? You did a summer job. So, I think it's really important that all those things make you grow up. Yes, it gave you your work ethic. You're right. All right. And that's really important. I want to tell you something. I know it's and the food is unbelievably good. Cindy, I can remember, and I was very honored because I was at the Mandarin Hotel or something. I mean, I was really, living the high life when I was there. But I just remember, Cindy, looking down from my hotel room, and all I could see looked like a million ants running around on the streets. And then I realized they were people. You know what I mean? It was like it's just the number of people wherever you go is amazing. And I don't do well in crowds at the best of times. Well, maybe they know something that you don't know, Nyasha. That's an interesting question. Yes, Beth. I wondered where you got that expression from. So you learned that at McDonald's, if you have time to lean, you have time to clean. That's where you learned it. And it stuck with you all this time. That's excellent. So yeah, I know. I want to tell you, if you like shopping, it is a haven. I'm sorry that I've packed them away. How many of you remember my big dragon that I had behind me here all the time I was broadcasting? There was a red dragon. It is one of my memories from Hong Kong. I got it in Hong Kong, and it is the god of protecting your home. I don't know what it's called. Nyasha, you probably could tell me. I can't remember what the name of that god is, but that's what is there. He was there to protect my home. Beth remembered that phrase for years and still does, right? Yes, a good slogan, it's called a slogan when it's about a business. A good slogan is, you know, is magical. But here's what I have to say, Boob. I know an awful lot of good slogans, and I couldn't tell you which products they refer to. But I remember the slogan. I just don't remember which business it went to. So what I do believe Beth needs is to do what is called the elevator comment, which is, if you were in an elevator with somebody, could you say in one sentence what your business is? Hi, and they say, what's your business? Oh, I clean office buildings. I have an office cleaning business. So if you know anybody who needs anything, let me know. Right? So the catchy phrase is a good idea, but what you really want to get over is what you physically do. And I've heard some really smart people have some very catchy sayings that did not tell anybody what they did. Yeah, it's okay. And I wish I could show him to you. I think it's Rhaegar or something. But all I remember them telling me was it was the god that protects homes. Yes, but do you know the name of the company? You see, that is the thing. I'm saying the slogan is excellent. But if you can't remember the company to whom it refers, then that's not as good as you think it is. People will remember the fancy slogan, but do they remember who to call? You see, that is my issue. Today you can, yes. I would agree with you. So I'm not disputing it. What I'm saying is that I would say quite honestly that what sells people on a business 9 times out of 10 is the person they're looking at. Do I want this person working in my company? I want to tell you, Boob, one of the best deals I ever did was when I was a trainee sales rep. And the interesting thing was I accidentally was given a major client to call on, if you can imagine that scenario. And I went in there and I did what I thought was right. And the next thing I knew, the company realized that I had been to that company, and they phoned up the person who I had visited and apologized and said, "I'm so sorry. We sent an absolute rookie out to see you, and we apologize. Something went wrong. We don't know why it happened." And the person I had been to see said, "It's interesting. You probably sent me the best salesperson I've ever seen." Because she did not try and sell me on your company. She kept asking me, what did I need from the company? I am here to represent the company, but till I find out what you need, there's no way I can tell you what I think we can offer. And she said, that is the first salesperson from your company to actually ask me that question. And by the way, you can send whoever you like. The person I will let into my office is that trainee, or whatever you called her, because she has got more smarts than the rest of them put together. And by the way, she just happens to be a female. And it was just like, yay. And do you know how I used to go in? I used to go in every, I had to see her quite regularly, probably every week or every 2 weeks. I always went in with cheesecake. She loved cheesecake. And I literally, after a while, I got to know how much time I was allowed or whatever. I'd go in, hand her a piece of cheesecake. I'd have mine. She'd have the coffee ready. I just about put my feet up on her desk, and I'd go, okay, here's the official line from the company. Da, 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 da. What's your official line? And she'd say, well, this, that, and the other. And I go, how's your love life? And we would spend the rest of whatever that time was, because she, and it was amazing. I did incredible business with this woman, and I very rarely sold her on anything. She was a highly intelligent person. What I did was keep her informed. All right. I've got, 5 page 3s ready for you whenever you need them. Let me know when you need them. It was just like, I didn't need to sell her. So, to me, it's like, it's not the catchy phrases that does things. It was, to my mind, from my experience, I did my biggest deals just being who I was. And, anyway, it's just a thought. So, thank you all for your time. I've gone way over time, and I actually was probably thinking of doing a shorter broadcast today, but that's not the way it went. So thank you all. I hope you learned something today. And for those of you watching on the replay, I wonder what you learned. And if you care to let us know. I'd like to say that this program always takes a life of its own. All right. I never quite know where it's going to go. My job is to start it off and start chatting to you guys and see what comes out of the woodwork. Today, we were talking about a step in the right direction. And I'm hoping at whatever level you feel that you've done that for yourself. All right. That you have at some level, even if it's mentally or whatever, that you've taken a step in the right direction. Because I cannot tell you how good it feels for me to have done what I did today. It was amazing what was accomplished in a very short space of time. I had the right person doing the right thing at the right time. And I trusted that he would do it and we would get it done. And we did. The good news is he's coming back in September. So because we have to celebrate our birthdays. His is next week and mine is the week after. And by the way, it is the anniversary of Dear Mama Sal next week. Well, thank you, Nyasha. It's a pleasure to have you here. Come back and join us anytime. What time is it in Hong Kong? We will be back, by the way, on Sunday. But on Sunday, now that I think about it, we are doing a special broadcast. Yes, let me make sure I tell you guys that we're doing a special broadcast on Sunday. We're doing it on Tiny Chat. I will put a note up on Facebook. It's 10:40 p.m. Okay, thank you. What time is it here in British Columbia? It's 9:41 here at night. So big hug to you all. Again. Remember to look after one another. You're all very good at that. But please, let's be responsible for ourselves. Right? It is really important that we do that and that we take accountability for our health, our wealth, our well-being, and not, let it go. Please look after yourselves. Nobody cares about you as much as you do, or that you should, and should is a guilt word, but you understand what I'm saying. If you don't care about yourself, why would anybody else care about you? Think about that. This is Dear Mama Sal saying thanks for being here. Awesome to see you. We'll catch you soon. Bye-bye for now.